What a show we have lined up for you today. Number one, thank you for watching and thank you for telling your friends. You know, you can watch this again on knowthecause.com. Tell your friends if they're up at 10 o'clock at night to watch it. Today, erroneous antibiotic prescription. Are they all being written for bacterial infections or maybe not? Right in the middle of the show, Dr. Mark Stengler. Dr. Stengler, what kind of patients do you see? And he says those that have seen all the other doctors. He's out in San Diego. Oh, don't worry, we got a cooking segment. Have you ever had a cucumber salad? Not like Abby's gonna make today. Then I'm gonna do a couple of segments of my opening, and then I'm gonna do fungal heart issues. Oh, by the way, we have a cardiologist joining us today also. Fungal heart? Wait, everything's bacterial, isn't it? Stay tuned. My name is Doug Kaufman. For the past 40 years, I've dedicated my life and even my career to finding the root cause of disease. Join me in a team of physicians, pharmacists, and scientists, and soon you too will know the cause. You know, there are so many things. I have a 5-minute segment and I've got to teach you something. Do you folks remember a few years ago, those who are brand new, WGN Network, welcome, thank you for joining us. A few years ago, I brought you this. In Spain, they published in a respected medical journal, the Pathology Journal, that pathologists, people who do autopsies, they assigned 5 pathologists to 21 dead people, and they said, okay, do the autopsies, tell us what they died of. Well, they found that in 11 of those 21, people had yeast growing in their brain and throughout their body. Those 11, not the other 10, just those 11 died of Alzheimer's disease. Alzheimer's to me is a fungal condition. What induces it, folks? I think years and years of antibiotics and alcohol and corn and other fungi in your diet, corn, wheat, sugar, those things, fungi grow in those products. So I think years of grain, alcohol, antibiotics, and so forth induce something like that. Decades, not a few years, decades. So along comes a brand new headline I'll show you right now, okay? New evidence that virus, hey Doug, you're totally wrong, fungus plays no role at all. Viruses play a role in Alzheimer's, says the Associated Press. And they say, the question remained, okay, in the Alzheimer's brain, what are the good guys that matter? And what are the germs, the microbes, that trigger the plaque? Let's talk about plaque for just a second. Do you folks know what biofilms are? They're bacterial. Most doctors will just say bacterial. You ever not brush your teeth? And you get that film on your teeth? Those are biofilms that block up any tissue in the body. I think it's like this. I think this is a biofilm, and this is plaque. Many, many, many biofilms stacked on top. These are little stickies. But that's how it all starts, a single sheet of biofilm. So let me show you the next graphic. Viruses are fungi. Many viruses, like Epstein-Barr and human papillomavirus and Hep C and Hep B, promote cancer, human cancers, by integrating their DNA into human cells. It is therefore possible that integrated fungal DNA can also be found in human cancer cells. So that's been my modus operandi for decades, to try to teach cancer doctors, oncologists, that fungus really plays a role in initiating many of these cancers, right? So what is the difference then in a virus and a fungus, and which might lead to diseases, neurological diseases like Alzheimer's? Folks, that has been a question of mine forever. I can't figure it out. I mean, viruses impregnate the cell wall, impregnate the DNA, right, in the nucleus, and so do fungi. I don't know the difference. Dr. E.C. Large, in a book written in 1940, I have this book, I love these old books, says this: for the year 1900, viruses came into being. Certainly plant viruses appear to have spread alarmingly and to have become much more prevalent since the beginning of the century. He's talking about 1900, now the beginning of the 20th century. One might speak of advance of the viruses as of advance of the fungi and fairly attribute it to the same world causes. But the viral diseases of plants were nothing new, but in their name. You mean in 1850 they were all fungal diseases, and now in 1900 they became viral diseases? Folks, I don't know what causes Alzheimer's. I got to work with a few patients with Alzheimer's through the doctors I used to work with. If I had Alzheimer's disease, based on that Spain study, not some virus, I think we're still mixed up in medicine, and every scientist will question me on this, between viruses and fungi. Fungi make poisons called mycotoxins. In 1960, this was discovered. When President Kennedy became president, we were all alive. Many of us were alive then. I think science is brand new in the field of virology and mycology, the study of fungus. If I had Alzheimer's, I'd ask my doctor for a prescription of a drug called Sporanox. All it does is clean up fungus and yeast in the body, the brain, the heart, every tissue. It's a systemic antifungal. I'd ask my doctor for Sporanox, and it's on my website, the doctor's fungal protocol. It's on my homepage on the website, knowthecause.com. I would then starve. There is a diet that starves yeast and fungi. They gotta have sugars and carbohydrates or they die. That's my diet, the Kaufman 1 diet, some Sporanox, and then in 60 days, I'd reassess. How is my brain working now? Am I feeling better? And am I up moving? Is my cognitive ability coming back? I think you'll find a whole lot out when you begin an antifungal program. There's either gonna be a yes or a no. I hope it's a yes for you. How important really is food preparation? Nurse Jenny Herbacek addresses that. Then afterwards, Dr. Mark Stengler. Patients find him as kind of a last resort doctor. All that and still a whole lot more on this Know the Cause. Watch.
Hi, I'm Jenny Herbacek with the Cancer Connection. Did you know that how we prepare our food can make a major difference in how healthy it is for us? Studies have shown that foods cooked or processed at high temperatures can cause a release of harmful advanced glycation products called AGEs. And these can damage DNA and increase our risk for cancer. For example, research showed that breast and prostate cancer sharply increased by those who were eating heavily cooked meats such as well-done burgers, processed foods, and fast food. A lot of restaurant food is high in AGEs. So lightly cook your vegetables and don't overcook your meat, fish, and chicken. Another helpful strategy would be to use acidic marinades that contain lemon juice or apple cider vinegar before cooking. This will limit the AGE formation in your food. For Know the Cause, I'm Jenny Herbacek.
You recognize him, right? Dr. Mark Stengler. He's been on the show over and over through the years. He's in San Diego, California, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, which makes us a long way from each other. But I send people to him for a reason, folks. This is a naturopathic medical doctor, right? So he can prescribe drugs, or he can approach the patient's problem within a dietary guideline or supplements, etc. And you and I were talking in the green room that a lot of your work, 95% of your work, is supplements and diet. Can you expound on that a little bit? So you'll see someone with a serious disease, maybe a doctor is diagnosed IBS, irritable bowel, and the doctor is giving them a lot of medicines, but they come in to see you hoping for another opinion.
Well, that's true, Doug. It is, what I have found in over 20 years of practice, the vast majority of health conditions that people experience, we can treat either solely with natural medicine or partially with natural medicine. So typical things like irritable bowel syndrome, as you mentioned, chronic fatigue syndrome, maybe people prone to recurring infections, allergies, skin problems, hormone imbalance. I mean, the vast majority of these problems we can treat totally naturally. People are also surprised to find out things like flus, bronchitis. I mean, 90 to 95% of these people we do not treat with antibiotics. We will if we have to, but we can treat them actually better with natural treatments. So yes, holistic treatment methods, when done correctly, when understood correctly and applied correctly, are very, very powerful. And unfortunately, in our medical world today, they're not utilized properly. But as you know, there's a growing number of doctors like myself who are using them on a day-to-day basis with patients and helping a lot of people.
I'm sitting here smiling ear to ear. This past year, 2017, I spent a lot of time touring, speaking to doctors at some of these symposiums. Years past, there were 12. Now there's hundreds of doctors, who are really hungry. I literally had physicians walk up to me and say, look, I'm an ER doc working in an emergency room, and I came here because I wanted to learn about nutrition. I really think I want to go into nutrition. We were so excited when we hear that because it's a new seed. When you teach a person to fish, they eat forever. because they know how to fish, right? When you teach a doctor about holistic approaches, they can help more and more and more of their patients. Get a patient better, that's cool. Get his whole practice better, that's even, better. How does a guy make it through medical school, even a holistic medical school, and then go so right? Look at a person's diet. Look at, even when it involves psychological components, depression, suicide, etc. And then look at that body physiologically from what a person's eating or supplements they're taking.
Well, I think I was a little bit different that way, Doug. A little bit strange, maybe. But actually, as a kid, I was very much into sports. And so, 7, 8 years of age, I used to read like Prevention magazine, back when they had some good information in it.
Right.
And I would study nutrition. To me, just innately, it made sense. It made sense our body was designed to interact with foods and nutrients and to function optimally. And then as I got older and planned to get into medicine, I thought, wow, one day I'm going to have kids, hopefully, and I know just giving them drugs isn't the answer. I want to have healthy kids, vibrant kids. I don't want to damage them. And seeing what's going on in medicine, so for me, it just made sense. Whenever possible, why would you not have a hierarchy where you start with exercise, stress reduction, prayer, proper sleep, proper nutrition, supplements, other holistic healing techniques, instead of going right to the big guns where you could, seriously damage somebody or kill them. It just makes, to me, it makes rational sense. And finally, doctors, using just some common sense, some logic, it's making sense to them.
You can get more information at Mark Stengler, MarkStengler, markstengler.com. In the 40 seconds we have left, tell me your 2 or 3 favorite supplements.
Well, we prescribe a lot of fish oil. Great anti-inflammatory, helps the heart, the brain, the skin. Probiotics, you have to get that good bacteria balance to offset the yeast and other bad bugs in the gut. B vitamins, because of stress and medications, we prescribe a lot of those. And there's many more, but those are some of the common ones we do commonly prescribe to people.
And then I've heard through the grapevine, of course, that you might look at fungus as the etiology or the cause of many health problems. The cause.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's something you're really open-minded to, and we get such good feedback on you.
A lot of antifungal supplements as well.
Thank you for who you are. You and your wife, you're both NMDs, right? And thank you for who you are and what you do. By the way, more info. If I was out there watching this segment right now, and my wife or my husband had a health problem, boom, I'm on an airplane to San Diego, California, the Stengler Center. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. I'll be right back with more. Boy, if I've seen this once, I've seen it 1,000 times. What role do these play in this, the ticker, the heart, okay? Dr. Lee Cowden, a cardiologist, will join us right now. Afterwards, I'll address fungal heart issues, so watch this.
I'm a board-certified cardiologist, and it is very upsetting to me how much focus there is in this country on trying to reduce the cholesterol and the other fats in the blood in order to try to reverse atherosclerotic disease, because we know that many other factors are much more important. For example, the dental health. Is there periodontal disease or other dental problems that are contributing to atherosclerotic disease? That's a higher risk factor for developing heart attacks and strokes than how high your cholesterol is. And it's not just the cholesterol that's the problem, it's the oxycholesterol. So if we have a lot of free radical damage and not enough antioxidants, we're going to form more oxycholesterol. We know that homocysteine is a greater risk factor for developing atherosclerotic disease than cholesterol elevation. The C-reactive protein is another marker for atherosclerotic disease. It's a more important marker, in my opinion, than how much fat we eat. And a bigger problem than fats in our diet is the sugar that's in our diet, because the sugar stimulates inflammation. Inflammation is the hallmark of atherosclerotic disease. So we need to pay much more attention to all these other factors and get less focus on the cholesterol.
This happens to be now a 21-year-old textbook that I bought 21 years ago, Principles and Practice of Fungus. It teaches doctors. This comes out of big medical schools, big cancer centers. Chapter 7 is Fungal Diseases of the Cardiovascular System. I want to read you now, 21 years ago, I want to read you the opening sentence. The frequency of isolation of Candida species, this is a yeast, a fungus, from the bloodstream has reached an all-time high, and there's no evidence that this trend is about to reverse in the near future. So Heart problems linked to yeast and fungus are at an all-time high. Sad news, many cardiologists don't have a clue. Really, really good people. They learn that much about bacteria, that much about viruses, really nothing about fungal heart conditions. And regular doctors didn't either, folks. So what I want to teach you now is the fungal component to a common condition. I hear this all the time. I do this live show on Facebook every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and you can watch and you can ask me questions. I'm sitting right here on the set. But there's a growing problem we didn't see much of 50 years ago, and now it's huge. It's called pericarditis. Pericarditis, okay? First, let's take the word apart. Let's dissect the word to better understand what pericarditis really is, okay? What does peri mean? Means around. What does card mean in medicine? It's not playing cards. It means heart. And what does itis mean? Swelling to you and me, inflammation to the medical field. Pericarditis. Around my heart is swollen. There's two kind of thick sacs that our heart sits in. That's the pericardium, right? And when this thing begins to get bigger and swell up, you have an infection, right? And 99.9% of doctors will give you an antibiotic. Why? If pericarditis could be due to fungus. Antibiotics tend to fuel bacterial infection, fungal infections. Women know this. If women are on lots of rounds of antibiotics, they get vaginal yeast infections, many of them, right? I think men do too, just not in that same, it's in the reproductive organs. I think they get fungal prostatitis from too many rounds of antibiotics. So antibiotics tend to fuel fungal conditions. And yet, look at the rest of this. Pericarditis is an infection and inflammation of the two thin layers surrounding the heart. It is also called idiopathic pericarditis. Can I tell you the word idiopathic? You see idiopathic purpura, idiopathic diseases all over the place. Idiopathic to them is to you and me, we have no idea. Those four words, idiopathic. Hey Doug, why is your car parked on that side of the street? Idiopathic, honey, I have no idea, right? Idiopathic pericarditis kind of says everything. They don't know why you have this. But you've been on 6 rounds of antibiotics, you've been drinking lots of alcohol, you smoke cigarettes, right? You eat fast food, you don't exercise. We have no idea why you have pericarditis. So we're going to call it idiopathic. That little word is in everyone's medical chart, whether you go in with ringing in the ear, gout, idiopathic. We don't know why you have it. Medical schools teach this. Teach you to treat symptoms, not address the cause. Huge money in treating symptoms and getting you to come back in. You're now on the boat, and the boat docks every week at another doctor's office. No money in saying, wait a minute, that's some drinking alcohol, just stop doing that and it should go away. Nada, okay? Then, virus is thought to cause most cases of pericarditis. Fungal pericarditis is known to exist, as you now see in a 21-year-old medical book and in hundreds of other books. Fungus probably is the cause. Shh, virus. Doctors don't learn much about fungus in medical school. And then here's the take-home message. It often starts with a respiratory infection. What do we give people with respiratory infections? Antibiotics. Antibiotic-induced pericarditis, I think that's pretty common. Your doctor will totally tear that apart. No agreement whatsoever. But antibiotic-induced pericarditis is a real problem. Why? Antibiotics are fungal metabolites that are poisonous. As you begin poisoning the human body, I think things are going to begin swelling. Just my take. This isn't a diagnosis. Just my take. Always talk to your doctor about using safe bloodstream antifungals if antibiotics don't work. You know, one of the predeterminants of a yeast problem, both men and women, is how many antibiotics have you been on in your lifetime. Have you been on a lot? They are known to encourage yeast growth in your body. It's important that you know this. Thank you to all our guests today. Isn't it great to have a registered nurse, Jenny Herbachik, and then a naturopathic medical doctor, Dr. Mark Stengler from San Diego, and then a cardiologist, Dr. Lee Cowden, all on one show. Folks, what we're trying to do is use the medical model and teach you naturally how to prevent running from doctor to doctor. Sometimes we have to, sometimes we get sick. But if you take really good care of your immune system now, wouldn't that pay off long run? Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for telling your friends about Know the Cause. We'll see you next time. God bless. Bye-bye.